At the beginning of the story, a man named Dan emerges from the sky and falls onto a building, and luckily he fell into a pool. Scene changes 28 years earlier, 2022 December. Dan is on the phone with someone named Arthur. Dan, who has served 2 tours of duty and is a high school biology teacher, wants to work at the Army Research Lab, but unfortunately he was rejected because Arthur had a more suitable candidate for the job. He then went back into the house and watched TV with his daughter and wife. On the television, a hole suddenly appeared and a group of soldiers came out of the hole. One of the soldiers said that they were from 30 years in the future. They are fighting against monsters, and they are on the verge of defeat. 11 months from now, humans in the future will be wiped out, so they need help from the public to win the war against the monster. A year later, many people have been sent to the future to fight, but only a few have returned. This recruitment is done all over the world, and only some soldiers meet the requirements for teleportation. Dan was at school teaching students. Then he got a message on his cell phone. The message asked Dan to confirm his recruit status at the MEPS office. At MEPS, Dan's arm was fitted with a device that functions as a means of transportation to the future or back from the future. Dan was also told that if he escaped or circumvented the device, he could be imprisoned or his family would pay for it. Dan went to his father, who was a mechanic of airplanes and various vehicles. Dan told his father he was going on duty. They had an argument because Dan did not have a good relationship with his father. The next day, Dan said goodbye to his wife and daughter for duty. The soldiers will be on duty for 7 days, and if they are still alive for 7 days, the tool in their hands will send them home. The soldiers are divided into 2 sections, and each section has its own task. Dan meets a man named Charlie. Charlie tells Dan that this man named Dorian has served for the 3rd time. While talking to Charlie, suddenly the alarm goes off. Due to an emergency situation, they must be sent to the future immediately. But there is a coordinate error in the position of the transfer of soldiers. They wanted to cancel it, but unfortunately it was too late. Because of the mistake, many soldiers died from falling from a height, and only a few soldiers were left. The commando told them that the monsters have surrounded the whole city, so they will bomb the city to eradicate the monsters. And before that happens, Commando gave the soldiers a mission to rescue the research team trapped inside the building. The Commando also informed that the monster can smell blood from a mile away, and asked the soldiers to be careful. After checking inside the building, the soldiers found the entire research team dead. The Commando then asked Dan to find all the biological materials in the lab to take with them. After taking all the biological materials, the soldiers rushed out, and as they went down the stairs, they heard something. After making it out, they saw that help had arrived and the soldiers were happy. But suddenly the cars were attacked by a swarm of monsters. Dan and Charlie woke up in a military camp. Then they approached Dorian. Dan asked where the other soldiers were. It turned out that no one survived except the 3 of them. Dorian blamed Dan for the other soldiers being killed. Dorian also tells the reason he wants to serve because he has cancer and has 6 months left to live. So he'd rather die while on duty than stay silent. Dan was called Commando. When they talked, it turned out that the Commando was named Miri, who was his daughter. Dan was touched to see her daughter in the future who had grown up. They then returned to duty to capture female monster, which will be used as an experiment to find a toxin that can kill the monster. They talked again. Murray was angry with her father for disobeying orders. Dan did it because it was to save Murray. Murray then told that when Murray was 14 years old, Dan divorced. And when she was 16, Dan got into a car accident and died.
I heard your last heartbeat on the monitor.
The captured female monster was then taken to a research lab in the middle of the sea. In the lab they made many variants of the toxin to find the right toxin that could kill the monster, and finally found a variant that matches 100% can kill the monsters. Suddenly an alarm sounded and it turned out that the monsters had surrounded their headquarters. Murray fell into a herd of monsters, and when Dan jumped he was teleported back because that day was their last day on duty. Dan met his family again. Dan told his wife that he met Murray in the future and they worked together. He was proud of Murray. Dan also managed to bring the toxin from the future, and Dan plans to find the location of the monster. Although the world knows the location of the first attack will be in northern Russia, but there is no sign of the monster's appearance there. Dan met Dorian. Dan asked for help to find the location of the monster's origin. After that they met Charlie. Charlie was looking at volcanic ash taken from Russia which turned out to be ash from China. Because they are confused how can volcanic ash from China get to Russia. Dan went to one of his students at school who really liked volcanoes, and it was revealed that the monsters had long been on Earth and they were buried under ice. That is why humans find no sign of the monster's appearance. Then they told the military that they found the location of the monster was located, and asked permission to fly to Russia. The military didn't believe it because they didn't have much evidence. Because the military didn't want to help them, Dan asked his father for help to prepare a plane to go to Russia. After arriving at the iceberg, Russia, they began to search for the location of the monster. And sure enough, there was a monster ship buried in the ice. When they entered the ship, they found the monster's eggs, and they immediately injected toxin into the egg and managed to kill it. But suddenly,
in case one of us gets in trouble, we gotta blow this thing manually, alright? No time.
Holy shit! There's a whole colony down here!
it turns out that the female monster managed to escape. They began to chase the monster. After that, Dan went home and met his family.
Now will never happen.
I will remind you that watching movies provide a much more exciting viewing experience than just watching the recap. And if you like this recap, you can like and subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make even better videos. And thank you for taking your time to watch this video. Have a nice day.
Muchas gracias, afición. Esto para vosotros. ¡Sí!